Here's the bow that holds the tonneau, and these are the hinges on the side here. So what I've done, I've had to take a little tiny slither off that, about 1 mil off the edge, because it was catching. And if you look here, you see I've drilled these 2 holes. They were there, but they had some filler in them or whatever, but they're exactly 12 centimeters from there to there on each side. And this is obviously where the bow tensioner, which is a bar, a steel bar, but in this case, because I don't have them, I'm going to make them out of aluminium, so they're a bit lighter. And the idea is if they're on I put a nice spring washer here, and then when you close it back, you just push it and click it over to this, so it sits in there. So that's why it has to be 2 centimeters width to go in there. I think that's probably what they were. They were catchers originally, stop them swinging backwards and forwards. So as this sits up like that, you can see I've put the countersunk the screws into it, and we'll put some fabric on here as well, possibly. So as you pull that forward, you can imagine that there would be like a 90-degree piece sticking like that. So you pull it across and it tightens this further forward. So I have to get that measurement absolutely bob on. And obviously both sides will be like that. And to show you, so I'm going to have to redo these, because I found now that they're about 2 mil too wide. They're 3 centimeters and I need them 2.8, but you can't get 2.8. You can only get 2, 1 or 3. But if you look here, you can see, hopefully you can see, sorry about the bad camera work, but it's a bit hard to do this with one hand. You can see where that sits on there now will be in line with that edge, and still get all the screws in on the side there on the tonneau cover. So what I'm going to do now is go down and buy some aluminium, and as I said, what I did was I took this measurement here on the side with the calipers, with a vernier gauge, and did the same thing here. And you can just see there's a line. I've got to now take it down to that, but geez, aluminium gets hot very, very quickly. Slight change here from the other side, but you won't notice it because the cover's over it anyway. It's a bit of fine detail that you won't see, but I know it's there. So you can see I've got to come down to that line a bit more and make this all 2.8 or 2.75 all the way around, and then the cover will fit correctly. It's just, as I say, it's just a couple of mil wider than I need it to be. So 2.8, 2.75 is just about bob on, and that'll be enough to push the cover under this edge here and not protrude too far. A lot of work, but hey, has to be done. It's the devil's in the details, we always say. So I'll go down and get this aluminium and make these stretches so that we can see how it looks. So I've been working on this tonneau, and obviously this bit in the middle, this bit at the back's perfect now, it's perfectly in line. And a little trouble with the corners. In this particular situation, it looks like it's trapped it, and what's actually happened is, if you look underneath, it's only trapped it partially. Some of the overhang or the edging is caught on top, so unfortunately I have to take it back off again, get it all in there, and then bolt it back down. And hopefully this light will work and I can show you what I mean. Hopefully that'll stand up, and you might, hang on, let me pull this way, you might be able to see there, you see how it's all bunched up and it's over it. So some is in typical, the light's gone, some is in and the middle bit's out and the front bit's caught, so that's going to have to come off. So I'll take you around the other side where we had to come down a piece at a time. Hopefully this will show up. I can't see very well, I can't get into but you can see there, hang on, you can see there that it's all in. Hopefully you can see there. So what I'll do is I'll take this side off and redo it. But you can see here it's nice and tight. It's nice and tight in the corner. It's not bolted at the front yet because we've still got to pull it down, so you can see it's going to be like that. And obviously this, as it's leather, it'll stretch slightly as well. So I took the bow and the stretcher out and that works really well now. Okay, so that piece that I made bent and narrowed slightly by a couple of mil. I'm taking that out, and if I lift this up you can see where I've put the bolts through the holes now. So you can see all the bolts are through. So all we have to do is put the plate back on, and it all lines up nicely now without the plate in it. But I'll put the plate on and that should be good. The other side's already done, and we can put the stretcher back in. I'm thinking about screwing the front down. Okay, so there you are. You can see it's lovely all the way along. It's nice in the corner now. Needs a bit of stretch in here, but we have to, what we've done now is we've put it over and it has to come right over on that edge there. So we'll let it stretch for a couple of days and then put those last chrome screws in on the front. And what we are going to do is, you might be able to see up inside now is better. This corner piece, I don't know if you can see it very well. What we'll do now is we'll touch in these screws with the maroon, and as you see it's all nicely in. Yeah, as I say, what we'll do is we'll stretch it a bit, and we're going to put normal nuts on it because they're quite long, the thread underneath here. You might be able to just see them, I don't know, hopefully you can. And we're going to put nylocks over them because if there's any vibration, because the reason I'm putting the nylocks on all of them as a backup is because we now have to put this interior piece in here and attach the hood to it, and once the hood's on I do not want to be taking it off because it's starting to come loose. And as I say, you can see that's how it will look once this is down really tight. It looks a bit rough there, but you'll see once I pull it down it's really nice and tight there. So let that stretch a little bit. It is leather, it's going to have some movement in it, and we'll give it a bit of a clean up. But yeah, so we're going to do this weekend because it's Saturday now. I'll put this up tomorrow. We'll get the interior back in, put the nylocks on here like I said, and on the other side, get everything done up, put the interior back in, and the new over carpets, these brown ones, which I think fit nice with the steering wheel and the dash. I think gives it a nice look all round, and it'll keep the carpets good. And then we've got to get these chrome trims on these, which go across the top here, and give it a good clean. I might get the valeter to come up and do it next week, and just give it a complete wash again, and valet it again. Yeah, I think I might do that. And I want to get it round onto the ramp because we need to do the covers on the bottom, bottom of the wings, and a few other little jobs underneath. And then I'll organise getting the track at Hartberg booked. I'll get it during a week, in a few weeks' time. Hopefully I'll get it like a Monday or a Tuesday when there's nobody around. Get there for 9 o'clock in the morning and use it till sort of 12ish, and just test the cards, make sure everything's good. Jobs need doing in here. We need to put the footwell interior in, and I must make some straps for these doors. They've got their own stop on them, but they're 90 degrees to the car, which is not going to be good in a car park. So I've got to put this interior in the side here, and then the same on that side. So we'll do that before we put the seats in, I think. Get that all sorted out, and yeah, I think we'll be good to go. See how it all works. But that dash I really like. I think the wood really sets it off with that wood steering wheel. Just to recap on this is the pieces that I made. They're aluminium. I haven't put a spring washer in them yet. And this clip here, the only thing I can think this is for, makes obvious sense to me, is that when you want to put the hood up and down and you have to push this back, concertina it back, these could be flaying around and they could catch the canvas or hood or material. And so what you can do is you can go like that and hook them in place so that they don't flop around. It makes absolute sense to me. So yeah, that's what I've done. I can't actually see it on the drawings, but that makes absolute sense. The only thing I will do is I will take them off and just take that down. It's just a gnat's hair too high, a pubic hair too high, so I'll take that off. I'll take them off again. They're countersunk, so there's no sweat, and that's how it stretches it. And being aluminium, if there's ever an issue, I can just put another one in. If the leather stretches more, which I don't think it will, won't stretch too much. So I've just cut off the edges here to make it look better, and I'll show you the final product, what it looks like. Unfortunately, I don't have enough screws to go in the front. I've only got 3 and I need 9, so I'll have to get some. So I'll show you what it's like when I tighten it. So these are, sorry, it's not in focus. These are the screws that I need to go along the top. So according to my friend David in the States, there's 9, and that's obviously the center point where they've put the leather edging in. So I'll put the first one in there, and then it's 4 either side. And I think the most important one, David said, was this one on the end, because you've got to be able to get to that button underneath there for the hood. So I'll say I'll give it a few days to stretch. I'll have to find, I have 3, so I'll have to find some more. I'll go to a upholsterer and get some more, but apparently it's 9 right the way across the back there. Might as well keep it, some of it exactly the way they were, but if 9 was good enough, I'm sure it's good enough for this. And I'll work out, obviously I'll space them out so they look nice. And then that stops that hood coming off that clip. So there we are. That's the, as I said, we'll get all these extra nylock nuts on the back so they can't come off, get the covers on, put the hood back on, or the hood, put the hood frame back on, which is here, which is all painted up in the same colour as the hood. As I said, originally they were grey. They come galvanised, but I think they look much better if they kind of camouflage into the background. So yeah, on that note, as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and come back and catch us for the next one. Take care everybody, be good to each other.